All right, we should be live. Welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom. I'm here with George. Friday's over. Not happy about it. Well, I guess I'm happy the day's over, but I'm not exactly pleased with today's action because it was unreasonable. Bitcoin had a good day. You wouldn't know it from looking because it seemed like it was a disaster, but actually Bitcoin had a good day, and the Bitcoin miners did not have a good day. And they're falling further behind. So at some point here, they need to play catch up. Bitfarms does earnings on Monday, so they were down 6% today. They're at $3.73, and Bitcoin's at just about 44,500. So Bitfarms in particular, Cleanspark, I will tell you, I mean, they're down today, but they're up 130% off the bottom. But Bitfarm and RIOT and Hive, they're really not behaving that well. Cores, in my opinion, from its low, somewhere under 40%, while Cleanspark's up. Yesterday, as of yesterday, Cleanspark was up 140% from its low. So I'm going to go to Bitfarm, and I'm going to measure it right now because it's nowhere near. And why is it not? Oh, because you got to go like this. No, I'm here. It's up 34%. From its, oh, that's February. Hold on. I think it's the same low. I think January was the same. Yeah. I mean, this is up 34%, and Cleanspark's up 135%. So, unacceptable. Greetings from the Netherlands. All right. And hello. I got a lot of hellos. Miguel, Barry. MINH. I don't want to mispronounce your name. Says hello everybody. I hope Bitfarms makes some movement next week. Yeah, tell me about it. I agree completely. And he also said, I believe if Bitcoin holds this weekend, I think the miners will start to get more volume. There's no doubt that people don't believe they don't believe the price action right now. They don't believe in this move up. And everybody's been fooled many times. George, they're saying they can't hear you. Is that because you're not talking, or because? We'll have to wait and see if they can hear you. That's possible. It's been known to happen. I gotta fix something. I need to run out for 20 seconds. Oh, you know what? Hold on.
Uh-oh. Tom must be getting, something bad's happening. Uh-oh. What? No, it can't be. I don't think you guys... Can anybody hear me?
All right, I'm back. Now I was gone too, but I'm back. Charles said, strange day, pulled out of Bitfarms, reinvested in Cores 3 days ago, and Cores has performed at all. These stocks should be flying high. Don't get it. Yeah, I agree. This week was definitely something was not right this week with the price action on the Bitcoin miners, and I really do think it's that nobody thinks this run up to 45,000 is for real, and the miners just did not get the bump from it. They should have gotten at least double. Oh, I'm having tech help me out right now if the screen's going
Double
wild.
now? You want double?
No, they should have been doing. I'm going to use Bitfarms as an example, but Bitfarms, I can name a bunch of them. Hut 8, Hive, none of them are behaving properly. And here, let me go down. All right.
Do we need to spank them?
Hopefully I'm. That's right. They need to sit in the corner.
Bad stocks.
Not behaving properly. So, I mean, you can see here's what I'm saying. This orange line right here was Thursday. So that was when the market closed on Thursday. So Bitcoin was up. It ended up 1%. At one point, it was up well over 2.5%. In the middle of the trading day today, Bitcoin was up 2.5% from the close on yesterday, and all the miners were red. Not all of them, but the majority of the miners were red. And you would think Bitcoin had a bad day today. Bitcoin hit 45,000 for the first time in a month today.
Do you think it's because of the New York thing?
I mean, certain miners are affected by that. I don't know what today's sell-off was. Some days when I'm done, I'm just baffled. And this is probably one of the top 3 most baffling price action days in the Bitcoin miners. And they have to catch up next week. You know, if this doesn't hold, then I guess, you know, everybody bailed out on Friday because they were worried about the weekend, and that's going to be the answer. But it really doesn't make sense. I mean, these things were down right from the get-go, so it's not like, you know, this was late afternoon profit taking. This was all day.
So what? I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what do you think, Bitfarms? What are you thinking?
I mean, to me, I will. The first thing it has to do is get back to $5. It's not even at $4.
No. You said they're releasing their earnings on Monday.
I mean, they're not. The earnings usually don't provide a huge catalyst for the Bitcoin miners because they all provide monthly updates. Everybody pretty much knows. I think they're going to do their fourth quarter earnings. They mined, I think, 1,045 Bitcoin in Q4 of 2021. So we know what their revenue is, plus or minus, unless there's some surprises on the income statement. You know, they got to do some accounting entries that are nonsense. They'll have to do some write-downs because Bitcoin was down, you know, a little bit and that kind of stuff. But those are paper things. I look at their revenue. I want to see their revenue. I want to see their direct cost. And then I want to make sure they're controlling their overhead and it's not, you know, out of control. That's what I look at on these financials because there's a lot of other stuff on there and it's very confusing stuff.
It's really interesting though to see, you know, Bitcoin up, Ethereum doesn't matter as much, but it's up, and then all the miners basically red.
Yeah, I mean that exact. It's up, and this is the least it's been up all day pretty much, and it's still up a percent. Jeff's asking Tom, a lot of the miners have had outsized options activity, mostly bullish, and calls exclusively. I mean, I've been adding to my options. I've been adding to my option positions, and now I'm pushing them out further and further. I did a bunch of August options today, and I mean, if this thing isn't sorted itself out by August, I don't, because we'll have the Q1 we won't have Q2 numbers yet, but we'll have Q2 production. And, you know, these things should be up drastically. These things should follow what CleanSpark's already done. CleanSpark's up 135%. And CleanSpark should go up a lot more from where it's at. So that means all the rest of these, pretty much all the rest of these, even Marathon and Riot have had a nice run, but still, if I look at it, that's the low, January 24th, and then they hit it again on February 24th. So that's almost every single miner, January 24th and February 24th. So if I go from the low to today, let's do it so that you can actually see it.
He's doing this live.
That's right. This is real time. 63%. Well, that was yesterday. So now, of course, they pulled back today. So 48%. So
and what was Bitcoin back on that 24th of February or whatever day that was?
Bitcoin got down to 34,000 and change on February 24th. It got down to just under 33,000 on January 24th. But more importantly, this white line right here, that is the September 29th line. Almost every single Bitcoin miner hit their low on September 29th. That was the end of the bear run in September. We probably don't even remember that anymore because we've had so much awful price action since then that we don't even remember that September was a disaster. That was the low. That was most of the miners' low on the year at the time. It held for almost the rest of the year. Bitcoin was at 41,000 at this white line. So Bitcoin's at 44,000, and here's where Marathon is now. And I'll just run through them. Look, here's where Bitfarms is. Like, the white line is where Bitfarms was at Bitcoin 41,000. And 5 months ago, which means they're more than, Bitfarms is more than twice as big as they were back then.
Wow.
So it's 5 months later, Bitcoin's up, all the miners are bigger, with plans to get much bigger, and they're all way off of, they're all disproportionately low. And it's not like they were priced high back then. I mean, these things are all still, most of these aren't even $1 billion stocks yet. Bitfarms, I think, is maybe under 700,000 after today. Or, I'm sorry, 700 million.
It seems like I missed a Friday. Did I miss a Friday?
You missed one Friday, yes. You were with the
Because
family.
I was like, I wanted to go over the stocks. That, remember we did a 1, 2, and 3? I don't know if you remember that. We did.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2, and 3.
Bob said, hey, just joined. Welcome. Welcome aboard. Just sold Hut at $6. Bad timing. Do you think it will bounce down to 5 before it shoots to the moon? I mean, right now, that's why I'm scared. I'm buying and selling options to try to make some money along the way, but I'm holding my stock because there is just no telling when this thing's going to sort itself out. And I do think, you know, the longer you zoom out, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, there's going to be drastic changes in these stocks to the upside. But is it going to go to 5 first? I don't. It very well could. Hey, Eric. Eric is saying, does the market know something? I don't think they know something. I think they're, I mean, this is what I think. Let me zoom out.
Oh, we did it on 310. Oh, I didn't write down what they were. Your top 3 miners, as you looked that up, was Bitfarm, Hut, and Riot. My top 3, and this was on 310, was Core, Riot, and CleanSpark.
Well, CleanSpark's been a winner. Really, most of the rest of these, in my opinion, even though they're all up. They're not up as much as they were a little while ago, but, you know, even Marathon was still up 48%, so it's not like that's awful, but it's way underperformed because you got to look. The Marathon's up 48%, but I'm going to go back to that one because, look, you got to say, forget about what it's up.
Is it proportionate to?
Marathon's down 65% since November. Since November 8th, which was one day before Bitcoin hit its all-time high. So that's after a 48% run-up. It's still down 65%. Bitcoin is nowhere near down 65%.
Do you think it's just because of the press and, like, you know, they're dirty companies?
Well, there's so
Dirty.
much of that. There's definitely FUD everywhere.
Dirty.
Kevin O'Leary had his little tirade to every microphone that
Dirty,
anybody turned
filthy, dirty.
It's dirty, rotten, stinking, very
Filthy.
angry Tom. Am I coming off as angry today? You know what? It's frustrating. I'm sure you guys feel it too. It's like, here we go, and then it's another Friday that's red, and now this Friday's red for just no reason. I mean, Bitcoin was up. These are the days that are the most frustrating. When the Bitcoin is up, there's no other real news, and all the miners are down. That to me is the most frustrating thing. But what I was going to show you is this right here. This purple line right here, this is what I think everybody's looking at. This goes all the way back to the beginning of the year. So we keep hitting this line and failing. So we did it. We hit it here. We didn't even get there today, and everybody bailed because it's a Friday, and they're assuming we're sitting right here. Let's get out. The run's over. But I don't think the run is over.
You don't think this is
Hey,
a
Rob.
dead cat bounce?
This is too much to be a dead cat bounce. Like, a dead cat bounce is not a sustained. This goes back to, well, this is only March 13th, but still. That's 12 days ago, up 20%.
That's
But-
really healthy.
Yeah, and then if you go back a month ago, this is a month ago. That's a month ago, up 31%. So that's not a dead cat bounce. That's I mean, if that's a dead cat bounce, then every move up ever is a dead cat bounce. I mean, at some point, you're 31% up over the course of a month. That's a sustained rally. Now, it's been a volatile rally, but, you know,
Do you
welcome
think
to crypto.
the war has anything to do with it?
Right now, I don't. I think the war had an awful lot to do with we hit this back on March 2nd and then failed miserably. And this, you know, around this date and around this date, some really bad news was coming out of the Ukraine situation, and that definitely created some downward pressure at those times. But there's that's I mean, obviously it's still going on, and it's a horrible thing, but it's built into the market, and Bitcoin isn't being affected by it. It's going up. Bitcoin is doing, this is the exact run that we've been talking about. We're going to run up and test this purple line. We've been talking about that for a month. So it's doing that. It's just that in the meantime, particularly today, but really several days this week, the miners lagged the activity that Bitcoin was having. And the miners should be a multiple of the activity that Bitcoin is having, not less. Eric's saying maybe it's the last pullback before 48,500. I hope you're right. Eric,
Well,
also, go ahead.
Would you say that it's broken out of your little range that you had for the longest time, breaking, you know, the 42.5 was, I think, your...
This purple,
this is like...
This purple line is the top of the range. Sorry. To answer your question, the purple line right here is the top of the range. So it has not broken out. We're still, by and large, you know, we popped down here to a low and here to a low. But for the most part, for this year, we've been between this red line at 37,000 and this purple line at around 45,700.
So if I hear you correctly, you're telling me without telling me to buy Bitfarm. If I'm hearing you correctly.
I'll tell you
Is anybody
this.
else hearing that? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I bought some today. I bought some August $5 options today. So there.
Let's see how much money I got.
That's what I did. Because
I mean, it's hard to say about those freaking things coming out on Monday.
The earnings report,
Yeah.
I just don't feel like these guys, unless the only thing they do is move down, if there was a non-cash compensation and everybody loses their mind and the stock goes down for a minute, but otherwise everything's pretty much known. I guess we'll see. I mean, we'll see on, I believe it's Monday. So, yeah. I mean, I bought in ahead of that.
I'm buying some right now, just so you guys all know.
I bought in today ahead of that, and if it goes down on Monday's report, I will buy in again, because here's the thing. I already know how many Bitcoin they mined. I know how many Bitcoin they mined. I roughly know what their cost is per Bitcoin. So, like, the rest of it is background noise, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. I'm scared. I've been almost all out. Sorry, I got so scared I hit my camera. I've been almost all out of crypto for a long time. I'm still in Bitfarms. Here I go. I'm cost averaging in.
You doing it?
I did it. Yep.
The after hours move.
Well, I mean, you're convincing me right now, Tom. I've bought the Kool-Aid.
Listen, I don't know what's going to happen. If it goes down on earnings, I'm buying some more. That's all I can say. I bought some more, and you guys know I've been buying this.
That's conviction, guys.
Unlike
you do you.
I will tell you, Eric Brown brought up Curiosity Stream, stock ticker CURI, and said, "Wow, brutal. I couldn't have said it better myself." That was a beating. I listened to their earnings call. I am very frustrated with them, and not necessarily for their performance, because their fourth quarter earnings were dead on. Their revenue hit, their earnings per share hit, their forward guidance. They basically said, they might as well have just said, "Oh, the future's a mystery. Who knows what'll happen." And
really?
You know how shareholders are going to react to that? Not good. They refuse to give 2022 full year guidance. They would only give 6-month guidance, which is a strange move, especially since 3 months are done. So that's not even giving guidance. They already know what those 3 months are, right? Because it's the end of March right now.
So you're saying this is a junk stock?
I'm not saying it's a junk stock. The other thing that frustrated me is they put out an earnings release, they did an earnings call, but they did not file their 10K yet. So I couldn't go, typically I'm looking all of that information together and going through, because the 10K tells no lies, right? You can say whatever you want in the earnings call, but it's all going to be in the 10K. And I don't know if it's out right now, but as of last night, as of midnight, I gave up looking because it still was not out. And that's frustrating to me. Their forward guidance for the first 6 months was much less than people were expecting. And, they didn't they have different types of revenue. And they kind of said in passing on the conference call, well, licensing revenue is going to be down $7 million in the first quarter. It's like, wait a second. That's like falling off a cliff. So
is it true that Curiosity Stream is I won't say what I want to say. What does it do? What do they do?
They're just what they sound like. They're a streaming service. They're an educational streaming service, basically.
I don't want to tell you what they sound like. I'm not gonna. Okay.
They are an informational, educational.
I mean, is it just me, but is that just like a bad name? I just think let's start right there.
They're going for the get your mind out of the gutter version of Curiosity.
Oh, well, this is interesting. The Curiosity Stream.
Let's learn.
Let's learn.
Let's learn together.
The problem with Bitfarm is I have
Just
been
reading
hearing about it for a year. The price always disappoints.
I mean, the price action on the stock is very disappointing. There's no question about that. But they're operationally, they are not disappointing at all. In fact, they just put another 300 petahash online this month, and I think they're going to have big numbers again. So, you know, it's the difference between the stock performance and the company's performance. And right now, the stock performance is not matching, in my opinion, the company's performance. Bitfarms mines a lot of Bitcoin, and they have a decent cost structure.
Didn't you say they mined more than Marathon last month?
Hive mines more Bitcoin than Marathon right now. They did last month, and they will again in March. Bitfarms and Hut 8 are just a little bit behind. Ultimately, Marathon should put a massive amount of room between themselves and all these guys, but they got, you know, they probably have close to 70,000 machines now not plugged in. So, and in the meantime, the machines that are plugged in are not. I did a video on this if you want to watch. Something's going on over there. Their efficiency level ranked the second worst out of all the miners. Argo Blockchain ranked the worst according to my calculations. So that's just my, well, it's not my opinion. It's just a mathematical. I just took the number of Bitcoin they mined and divided the hash rate by it. So,
wow.
Mathematically speaking, Marathon came in second last, and Argo Blockchain came in last.
You liked, somebody said something about Matterport. Hang on. The only thing I added to this week is Fobo, Matterport, and the stock ticker, FUBO. Matterport. My broker doesn't have Bitfarm. Do you like Matterport still, Tom?
I'm not in Matterport. I follow Matterport. I'm not in Matterport. I mean, it's not an exchange for Bitfarm. They're very different.
No, they like 3D scan buildings. Isn't that what Matterport does?
Yeah, the technology's
yeah
cool. I like the stock, but I'm not, that is not in any of my portfolios. It's on my watch list. I'm just trying to read some of these before they disappear.
I'll get to them. Tom, any idea what's going on with Canon, sorry.
Yeah, volatility is going on with them, and they got they got beat up today. They got beat up badly a couple of weeks ago for no reason, and then they took a huge run up, and now they got beat up again today. I almost bought them today.
10% down.
I stuck with Bitfarms and added to my Bitfarms position just because that's my highest conviction play, and they continue to abuse it. So I'm just going to keep adding to it. But I almost went with Can today instead because
what is Can? What do they do?
They make the machines, and they're minting money. So
you mean they make
Bitcoin miners?
Which one? Which model? Do you know what it is? Or
It's
Antminer?
It's none of the two that we're most familiar with. They're a smaller company, but they, you know, their sales are huge. Their profit margin is massive. Now they're talking about a stock buyback because and I don't have any problem with a company like that buying stock back. I don't want my Bitcoin miners buying stock back. I want them buying Bitcoin mining machines. But the guys who make the machines, if they're making so much money that, you know, they got money left over and their stock is down, then they should buy it back. I did not buy Curiosity Stream despite the fact that it got totally destroyed. I didn't sell, but I did not buy because I want to read their 10K. I'm frustrated with the information they gave. I felt like they were intentionally ambiguous. And the other thing that I will point out about Curiosity is they did one of those deals, tell me you're trying to sell yourself without telling me that you're selling yourself. That they all but said like they think they're going to get bought out by a bigger company.
Oh, really?
And I'd be fine with
What's our plan?
that.
What's our plan? Well, this is what our plan is, George.
If
Look, this is an interesting one. Okay, don't tell anybody.
if
But
they
we're
got
praying
bought
to
out,
God somebody buys us. We got some really good ideas. I'm gonna get Barry, who's telling me to be careful because they're a big sponsor on YouTube. Thank you, Barry. I appreciate that.
who's a big sponsor? Curiosity.
Yeah, a curiosity stream. I get.
Listen, it's in my 10K challenge
Hey,
portfolio. I
oh,
like
is it?
it is.
Look at curiosity stream. Do they do it in quotes when they say it? Do they wink?
It is the legitimate above boards educational programming.
Maybe they should have not been. Okay. Hey, Logan. Logan saw an interview with Kitco with Kevin O'Leary. He keeps talking about carbon credits and ESG threat to certain miners. What is your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, and I have not done a standalone video on this yet, but I talked about it. I actually interviewed Frank Holmes from Hive and asked him directly about it, and surprisingly, thanks, Bob. I'll read that in 1 minute. Surprisingly, he was extremely candid. So if you want to know what he thinks about it, because Kevin O'Leary called out Hive in specific, and Frank Holmes was not pleased, and Kevin O'Leary's wrong. They don't even buy carbon credits. Also, I think what Kevin O'Leary said was total, absolute nonsense. So I invite him on our channel at any time. I would love to give him an opportunity to explain what he's talking about, because certainly what I heard him say did not make sense at all.
When I think that you bring up an interesting point. No one ever does this, and this is what, when we first got into this market, this was 2 years ago now, Tom and I were talking, and the first thing I said was, these things suck energy. And he goes, really? What about retail? How much energy does retail waste in a year? Because let's be honest, nobody's in these stores. You could go into any store right now, all their lights are on, the computer is going, and that wastes a lot of electricity. Building stuff wastes a lot of electricity. There's so much. I mean, I don't know what you mean by waste electricity. If you're creating commerce, you're making something with that electricity. It's not going out. And one of the other things that was interesting was people forget that a lot of this energy would be gone, okay? Meaning that it wouldn't be used and it would be wasted. So isn't it better not to waste the energy and make money on it? That's where the confusing part of this is.
Right, and they're using a lot of would-be wasted energy, and there's way more energy wasted. I just want to get to what Bob's talking about, but I'm not sure what stock he's talking about. I don't know if I'm just not reading it right. I got it.
Hang on, Dawn. I don't want to miss Dawn. Dawn has 36,000 of Bitfarm, and she's a bit angry. I am with you, but Dawn.
Yeah, we're on the same. My only advice would be patience, and if you don't feel like buying the dips anymore, I don't blame you. But I'm holding that until it gets to where it's going, because I have a very high level of conviction that it is going to get to where it's going, and it's got nothing to. Its price is going to look nothing like $3.73 in my opinion. Even if I got to wait a year. I mean, it should be so drastically above that, even if I have to wait a year.
Rob writes back, end of the year, it's all about Cleanspark.
Bob, how about Bob? Was it Cassidy? For some reason, I can't read what he wrote. I want to respond to him. That was a super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I think he's talking about Bitfarms, because it was at 6, because I will tell you, I lost a ton of money on Bitfarms options, which we thought would never go below $5, but it did.
The painful thing was, so if you're talking about Bitfarms, then we're with you. If not, let us know. George and I both did the same thing. We had $5 February options way back when, and they were up. We had made a lot of money. Well, we didn't make any money. They were up a lot, and we held on to them, and boom, they ended up out of the money. It was unbelievable.
That was the only thing I lost money on last year, and it hurt. Isn't that crazy?
That was that. Yeah, that was a rough one, and there's just no explaining this. Their price. It's just it doesn't make any sense.
Ooh, if Eric, sorry, I'm zipping all over the place. I'm trying to stay in line here, but isn't Canon an ADR? I don't know if it is. I don't know. I don't know anything about Canon.
Canon is if he's asking, they're a Chinese company. So they're traded on the Nasdaq, but they're a Chinese company, and I know that sometimes that has some extra volatility along with it. But I mean, I don't know. They make machines and sell machines and make money. I mean,
yeah, but everybody's scared of China right now. I'm scared of China. Tom, would you buy more CleanSpark or Core at the current prices? Rob S.
Rob, I would honestly, I think I'm going to say Core, Scientific. And it is only, I love CleanSpark. It's my second biggest position. And the only reason it's not my biggest position, there's two reasons. Number one, Bitfarm keeps going down so much that I keep buying more and more and more of it. And number two, CleanSpark ran up so much. Basically, I'm down to my stock position. I've sold my options. All my options were up so much on CleanSpark, I had to sell. So now I don't touch my core position of the stock. But if I had to buy in, I think Core's market cap is less than Marathon's right now. All these guys' market caps don't make any sense. I have so many market cap analysis, and I don't even do videos on them because it's like one's more confusing than the next one. The only thing I can say is, in my opinion, no matter how I slice this, all of these guys are way undervalued, and Core's is one of the ones. I mean, $10 should have been a rock solid floor for them. They're under $3 billion right now.
What's their price at?
They're at $8 and let me see, $8.60. I mean,
do you think this?
And they've been a lot lower than that.
Do you think this is the final push for the last of the first quarter? Because once these numbers come out for the first quarter.
Well, right now all the year-end numbers are coming out, so I think yes, they can still suppress the stocks a little bit because if you see how much these companies are ramping up their exahash in 2022, they had a hard time in 2021. All these guys did, a lot of them doubled. Marathon went from 0.2 to 3.0, and a lot of, Hut went from 1 to 2, so that's doubling your exahash, but they have a lot more machines than that ordered. They're just waiting for them. So they're all coming in now. And Bitfarms, they have said in every single press release, including February's, that they are still on track to be at 8 exahash at the end of 2022. So they are going to be mining mega Bitcoin, and they already are.
Logan Rhodes, I've been tempted to buy some. I believe he's talking about Bitfarms, or I don't know what he's talking about. But I am still waiting for the CPI report next month, where it'll start to reflect sanctions on Russia. Might be a few bad reports in incoming months. I agree with that. And Logan asked, same thing I'm asking, Rob, which stock are you talking about?
Me?
Yeah, no, no, he's just saying that if the CPI report comes out.
Oh, gotcha.
Which, and just so you know, it's never, I don't think the CPI report's ever going to be above 8%. Do you, Tim? I mean, I think they're,
I think the CPI report could get worse. Yes.
Do you?
And I think it could get worse, and it will get worse. But I do think that, that is a temporary situation. Temporary's been a lot longer than they talked about, and it's gotten a lot worse than they were talking about it getting. And, some world events dictated that, but it's not going to change in a way that's going to change the game, in my opinion. Let's put it that way. If it comes out at these 0.2, 0.1 rounding error type things, it's like, that's not a big difference. And we all know if you guys don't feel inflation, I can tell you where I live, I feel it. I feel it at the grocery store. I feel it at the gas tank. I feel it when I go buy lunch, except George usually pays, but I still see the bill, though, and I feel
insane.
it.
It's rough. So Curiosity, if it gets bought out, Eric just said he thinks it's going to go for like 9. If they get bought out, he's thinking 9.
Yeah, I agree, or more. I've held all my shares. I would have averaged in if I could have read their 10K. I still think it's a good stock to have, and I'm probably gonna end up buying more. But I just want that report, and that's right. They're not gonna sell. They're certainly not gonna sell. They're gonna sell for, I would think, a 3x, or else it's not worth it. That still only puts them at their market cap. Let me go look. I mean, their market cap is really low.
I'm going to read these as we go, as you do that. So
$155 million. So even if somebody could pick them up for $10, which is more than a triple, you know, that would be $500 million. There's no way they should sell themselves for less than that.
Should I buy some Curiosity?
And $500 million to these companies, because remember, these other streaming companies are monsters. $500 million for Disney is a joke. They haven't paid. They pay $1 billion for anything. So,
what about Zoom? I don't know.
There's several big streaming companies, and they talked a lot about, I think there's going to be a lot of consolidation within the streaming companies, the big guys buying the little guys, and, you know, so
that's definitely their plan right now. I mean, obviously, right?
They're the little guy. That's it. I don't know if that's not on their mind, at least. I don't know why they would be talking about it on the earnings call.
Were they praying? Were they doing like a rosary or anything?
They were.
Excuse me, 1 second. Can we just get a moment?
They were praying that nobody asked them about
what do you think
Q1 revenue this year, because. And then I stick around for all the questions, and the questions are so handpicked because, I mean, there was one obvious question. What happened to licensing revenue? And, you know, what's going to happen in 2022? You can't just say it got slashed radically and, you know, no.
That's crazy. 155 million. That seems like nothing.
That's why I'm invested in this. And you can see it was down 19% today, and any other day, because I haven't lost my conviction in it for all the reasons we just talked about. And even with their lost licensing revenue, they're still fine. You can't throw that out there and not explain it. So, you know, $155 million market cap. This is a tiny company. I hope they get bought. Take a quick triple and move on to the next play.
Charles says, with gas skyrocketing, wonder how much hut energy costs are now. I want to say something. I was reading an article in a newspaper. Yes, I read a newspaper. And Tampa, in Florida, Tampa Electric is trying to pass a $156 million surcharge for the next 6 months. So if people think that prices aren't going to start to skyrocket here, just hang on. They're going to.
That's an outrage.
Isn't that insane? 150. I was like, how much? What? Can you guys stop? Turn the car off for a minute. That's a ton. I mean, can you? I mean, let's put it this way. Here's a great one. See Curiosity? See their market cap?
Yeah.
That's more money than their market cap for 6 months of gas fuel consumption. So that's going to be insane. MULN. Is that Mullen?
I just want to say thanks to Ron Ben real quick first for the super chat. Thank you very much. I'm trying to read what he said. My contacts are not acting well today.
Okay. Tom, what is your level of conviction for Hive and some year-end price target positions? Not financial advice, but go ahead.
Not financial advice, but if you have not watched my interview with, it was very lucky. We got a chance. I got to sit down with Frank Holmes, who's basically the chairman of the board, and Aiden, who's the CEO of the company. And they spent, I think, 50 minutes talking to me, which is more time than most of these companies give. And they were very candid. They answered all my questions. You know, I didn't get a lot of, oh, I'm sorry, I can't talk about that kind of stuff. And I was very satisfied with all of their answers. I like what they're doing a lot. They have a big conviction in Ethereum. So that is the one thing with Hive. They are bound to Ethereum in a way that no other miner is. Hut 8 is doing some Ethereum mining, but they've already got Plan B worked out in the event that we go to Ethereum 2.0. Hive believes that's never going to happen. They reiterated that while I was talking to them. So I know that confuses a lot of people because it's basically the rest of the world is acting like it's done and it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to move Ethereum to proof of stake. But they don't think that's going to happen.
And how does that affect it when it goes from proof of work to proof of stake?
Well, all of their GPUs that are mining right now Ethereum won't be able to mine Ethereum anymore if it goes to proof of stake. So they'll have to mine something else. It's not that they become garbage. There's plenty. A GPU can mine almost anything. It cannot mine Bitcoin, but it can mine almost anything else. So there's lots of, and they're high-powered computing machines. So they will have a use in the event that it switches. Also, they are focusing on buying. They made a deal to buy the Intel chips. So, and in talking to them, actually Intel did an interview process and kind of picked who they were going to sell them to based on, they had some green criteria. So they passed that bar, and they're going to use, so they're going to custom make Bitcoin mining machines using the ASIC chip that Intel is making. So there's a couple of companies. I think the other one is Argo has already made a deal with them as well. So they got a lot of new, they bought a lot of chips, and that's the one thing they said, I can't disclose like how much more is going on, but I got the impression they have a very big relationship with Intel, and they're going to be buying a lot of Bitcoin mining chips from them. Hey, Jeff, thanks for the super chat. He said, after your chat with Hive, I went out and bought a bunch of $3 strike calls for September. Nice. Yeah, I mean, that's another one. Hive at $2 and change just blows my mind.
I've been sitting on my options for Hive for forever. I have a $2 options. And I've lost. Well, it's coming back, but at one point in time, I was down like 30,000. So,
yeah, that's come back a bunch, but it's still way underpriced. And I can tell you, you could see. So, Jeff, if you watched the interview, you could see Frank was not pleased with their stock price. And I don't blame him. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And
no, I'm just laughing because, hey Tom, who's the largest shareholder for Hive?
Yeah, exactly. These guys have a lot of shares, and obviously they're heavily invested in their own future. And it's the same. Somebody called me, said I was angry Tom today at the beginning of this stream. They're feeling the same thing I'm feeling, only times 1,000.
So you didn't give me a price target for Hive before, and then we got to answer Bob's question. What is your price target for Hive by the end of the year?
By the end of the year, I mean, I feel that it should double.
Right.
You know, could it push $5 by the end of the year? And I'm trying to be very, so again, I have to say it's not financial advice, and I'm trying to be very conservative in my price targets because you can see these things are not moving the way they're supposed to. They're moving much slower than they're supposed to. But even with that said, I mean, I can't imagine Hive's not going to get to $4 or $5 by the end of the year, with a chance, you know, if these things start behaving properly and Bitcoin goes on a run, that number could be way higher than that.
Bob, do me a huge favor and tell your friends about our channel. I just read both of your comments. Now I'm going to read them. Voyager. I have 30K in Voyager at $10 and another 30K above 15. I'm just going to read this as it is. I was buying a falling knife, the position, then 15. I plan on selling at a cost base as it rises. Does that make sense?
So you're in Voyager, and Voyager got whacked. I mean, it's ridiculous because, you know, I think there were a lot of YouTubers saying Voyager at $15 was a steal, and I think it got down to $5. I'm going to go look. So we have to buy that. No, not Therapeutics.
And then I think their money should have been sent on Bitcoin miners. Did something happen where they bought back stock or something? What'd they do?
No, Voyager Digital is they're basically a crypto exchange. And I'm just looking, what's their... So I'm using US dollars, but if I remember correctly,
Is this a Canadian stock?
Yeah, it says New York, New York, but I don't think that's right. I think this is a Canadian company, but maybe I'm... Oh, primarily in the United States and Canada. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're a Canadian company. I think you guys let me know. I think this trades on the Toronto Exchange. And it doesn't trade here. It trades over the counter here. So you can see this is an OTC stock in the United States. So in US dollars, it's at $6.29. It got as low as $5.34. This was a $30 stock in the last 52 weeks. 20 seemed to be a pretty reasonable number. When it started to get down to 15, people really started talking about, I'm buying in, you know, 15's a good price, but then it just kept dropping and dropping and dropping like everything, right? This is, go figure, that's November 9th. That is the day Bitcoin hit its all-time high. So this chart looks like every chart in the cryptocurrency space that has anything to do with cryptocurrency. All-time high on November 9th and down in a straight line ever since. I have not bought Voyager yet. This is like the top, I would say, Canon, and I think I pronounced that wrong, and Voyager Digital are the two stocks that I do not own that are next for me. So I don't have a position yet. I think this is a great company, but I don't know why they're trading for $6. And I know why you bought them at 15, because everybody was screaming it was the deal of the century. And by 10, you know, that's even better.
That's an interesting one. Sorry, I'm trying to read all the chats. I'm sorry if I've missed some. It's not on purpose. I'm slow. So please, do not pick on me.
Jeff, I think your $3 strikes for September should be gold. I've got a bunch of $2 strikes and $3 strikes scattered throughout the year. And like, you know, you heard my price target, and obviously, I don't know the future, but I'm planning on it going a lot higher than that. I mean, $3 is nothing for those guys.
Barry writes, oh, here, let me, thanks for answering the questions and the advice, guys. He put an S on that, so I'm giving advice. Don't take my advice, please. Take Tom's advice. Always appreciate. Thank you, sir. We really appreciate that. Don says, I wish I could buy CleanSpark back at 8. Don is like me. I am the best Monday quarterback you could ever imagine. Once it goes to a low number and then it rises again, I'm like, man, I wish I would have done that. That's the hardest thing for me, is the waiting game in this, and that's all this is a waiting game.
Everybody should look at CleanSpark, because this is my beacon of hope for all of these stocks. I did the same thing with CleanSpark. Every single time it went down, I bought the dip. So I averaged myself down to where I'm up huge on CleanSpark, even though it's down, you know, way off of its highs. But it's up 130 or 140% off of its lows, and I averaged all the way down to the last day. So that's why I do, and I don't do that for every single stock I own. You can see Curiosity got beat up today, down 20%, and I did not average in. I want to wait and do a little more due diligence, but I don't need to do any more due diligence on CleanSpark or Bitfarms or Hut 8 or Hive. I mean, I got a full position and I'm up to speed, and if they want to put it on sale and give more away, in my opinion, I will keep buying it. And it's one of the reasons I haven't gotten around to Voyager Digital yet, because so much of this other stuff is so far on sale that I keep averaging into the same stuff.
Logan, yes, to answer this question, Lunar is buying $9 billion worth of Bitcoin to back their stablecoin question mark. I think it's genius, but still have to look into Lunar a little bit more. And actually, Lunar, we got wind of that about, I don't know, 5 days ago when they started the first day. I think the price action that we're seeing right now on Bitcoin is because of this movement. I know it's only 9 billion, but I mean 9 billion. Wouldn't anybody love that? I'd love it. And that just makes such an impact on when we have a sliding scale of the Bitcoin, and then you get another $9 billion worth of purchases coming, or I don't know. I don't think they've fulfilled that order yet. Do you know, Tom, if they fulfilled it?
I don't know. I know they put press releases out and they've been talking about it. I think they bought like $1 billion worth, and they're gonna average in over time, is what I thought I read. I'm not 100% positive of that.
Ron watched and loved your interview. And then listen to this one. Rob S. England is paying $8.5 a gallon for fuel.
Ouch.
Energy cost in England has doubled. Wow. And then Bob Cassidy. Thailand is banning crypto in April. Does anybody think that crypto will ever be banned in the United States? My answer is no, by the way, and I can give you a really good reason. Logan, Intel is going to work with Block.
My answer to that is definitely no. They will not be banning Bitcoin in the United States.
No, but I think there's going to be more regulations, and I think, if you look at who was that guy who just said, "Look I'm closing down all my exchanges, all my coins." Who was that? The guy's made billions of dollars. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, no? Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? I'm not worried about the regulations either. And I'm not saying they're not coming. I think they are absolutely coming. Everything ultimately gets regulated, and they'll be what we think they're going to be. They're not going to be some drastic different than everything else that's regulations.
And just technically crypto is currently regulated. This is what I try to tell everybody. If you go and you buy crypto or whatever, just a coin at $1, and you sell that coin for $5, you have made $4, and any income you make is taxed. So it is currently regulated, and if you're not paying the tax, then you're the problem. I'm sorry, don't hate me, but is this true, Tom?
I mean, yeah, it's a taxable event right now, but there's more regulations to come. And I'll tell you, they're talking about, this is the funniest thing that's going to happen out of everything. They're talking about making everybody have ESG audit and have a score. And here's the thing. The Bitcoin miners are going to have the highest scores out of every company in the world. They're the greenest companies out there.
Why do you say that?
The pressure has been put on them massively. And I won't say, they're all at a different level, but CleanSpark, even Hut 8, Hut 8's buying some credits, but they're 90% clean. I think Bitfarms is close to 100% clean. And I'm talking hydro, wind, solar. Nuclear in my mind, solar, but solar is highly inefficient. Nuclear, which is the opposite, highly efficient. So all these guys are already off of all this stuff. They've had so much pressure put on them that they've already made, they have councils and committees where they all put out plans to get more and more green. So there's a few that are lagging behind the pack. But for the most part, these guys are, let's put it this way. I mean, if you can look this up, it's an easily verifiable fact. 80%, more than 80% of the energy used in this world is coal, oil, and gas. So that means your average company is at best using 20% on the average, because 80% of the energy is not clean. So, there's going to be exceptions. There's going to be a few companies that this is important to, and they're going to get great scores. And they will be, up there with all the Bitcoin miners, because the Bitcoin miners have been forced to do this. So they're talking about regulating the entire stock market this way. And this is the SEC, by the way. Although I think Congress might have something to say about that and shut it down, because they're going to find out the companies they're trying to go get, they're going to have the best scores out of everybody, in my opinion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What is your price target? Sorry, it's my speech impediment coming back. CleanSpark, what is your price target this year, end of the year?
I mean, if I'm talking about a 1-year price target, I pretty much, for the stocks that I have high conviction in, and that is certainly one of them, I'm saying they should all at least double. I know that they can go a lot higher than that, and a lot of people are going to give you, so with CleanSpark, $25 to $30. There's people that'll give you numbers that are a lot higher than that, and they might be right. I'm really trying to price in the fact that the outside forces are slowing down this price action as much as they possibly can. They can't stop it forever, and CleanSpark's evidence of that. They already just more than doubled by far. So it's no stretch to think that they'll pull another double over the next year. Candidly, I think they'll do much better than that. But I'm counting on all of these, all the ones that I bought, and there's a lot of publicly traded Bitcoin miners. But the let's say the big 7, as I call them, and they're the 7 at the top of my list. In my mind, those should all double in the next year, and that's conservative.
I love reading this because I just pulled this up real quick. And these two companies, I'm going to tell you that is number 1 and number 2 of the holding CleanSpark shares. One company, and you guys can guess who it is. They have 2,277,816 shares as of December 30th, 2021. The next company has 1,842 and 236. Between those two guys, that makes up 46% and then 37%. So of the outstanding share. So this
is in CleanSpark?
Yeah, yeah.
Who is it?
BlackRock and Vanguard.
Well,
or as I like
go.
to say, the same people. So
and it's
think
funny.
about that. They don't lose money, guys. And let's put it this way. There's a very good likelihood that the downward pressure on all of the Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin was because of those two companies.
And also, all the Kevin O'Leary talk, the number one thing that he cites is BlackRock's letter to their investors saying that ESG, is crucial and that is the future, and they will only be investing in companies that are solid on that. So, the fact that they're already heavily invested in CleanSpark means they've already passed the test that Kevin O'Leary says everybody's going to fail. Because they're already their biggest investor.
That's wow.
What Kevin O'Leary is pushing, and this is what people have to understand, nobody's going to be 100% carbon neutral without carbon credits, because nobody's perfect at anything. So as soon as you guys find somebody that's perfect at anything, please leave me a comment in the chat, because that's just not how it works. If you have made a conscious effort and you're 70, 80, 90, 95% green, that's incredible, right? You're so far ahead of everybody else that you should be applauded, not chastised that, you're 92% green. You're killing the planet. No, we're helping the planet.
You're gonna love my statement. If you want perfect, and just I think I'm perfect. You want to know why? Because I've lowered my expectations. Perfect for you might be different than perfect for me. Just realize that. And that's a big one. I mean, because you defined your perfect.
Well, I'm going with the actual definition of...
What does that mean, actual definition? Perfect. Look it up. Sorry. Jeff has a crazy strike call for CleanSpark, and it's is it $75 or 60? Or do you have you have 75 at 60 strike calls for CleanSpark. Isn't that insane? When do those run out, Jeff? That'd be interesting.
You know, if they're 2023s or 2024s, those, you know, those could easily finish in the money. They should finish in the money. I cannot believe the price suppression on these is going to last forever. And I do think that Bitcoin is going to much higher places. And, you know, these things will get multiples more profitable as Bitcoin continues to go up.
And that's the other thing that Tom always tells me. And, you know, I'm an impatient person. And he always says this is a new industry. Even though, what'd you say, it's been around for 10 years, basically?
Right. It's been 10, 13 years, whatever it is. But this is, let me put it this way. There was the total market cap of all publicly traded Bitcoin miners a year and a half ago was less than $1 billion. That was the entire industry put together. So this was a very small, very new industry. It's growing rapidly and changing rapidly, and people are still trying to catch up to it.
See, thanks, Jeff. I'm perfect at making mistakes. I am not perfect at making mistakes. I am perfect at making additional opportunities for myself. That's being perfect. George, where did you get your wig? Where did the camera get it?
Thanks for the super chat, Jeff.
You like my wig?
Your wig?
He says wig.
That's not a wig.
You like my rug? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, did you dye your hair?
No, I didn't dye my hair.
It looks dark today.
Do you want to know how much time I spend to get ready for anything? A minute? That's it. I mean, if someone, I forgot, listen, this is going to be a crazy story. I can't tell you the whole story. I had a conversation with somebody. They're worth $50 million, okay? Which, you know, in stock and this, it doesn't mean anything. But $50 million, I'm pretty impressed with that. And everybody's like, aren't you going to, put on a collared shirt? I'm like, dude, you get what you get with poop. That's why I like the name poop. But you want to know what's really sad? 50 million. Wouldn't you think that that person should be extremely happy? He's a miserable SOB. Okay? Miserable. So just realize that money does not buy happiness. That's how you get perfection. Perfection is roughly right.
Well, don't let perfection get in the way of success.
No, what is that? There's a saying that goes, what is it? Don't let perfection get in the way of happiness.
Exactly.
And I think that's exactly what happens. Ho! We got anything else, or you want to cut it? That's been an hour. Can you believe that was an hour? Man, that was a fast hour.
That's crazy.
I know, isn't that insane?
That was fast. Let me just read to the end of a couple of these, and then we'll cut out.
Okay.
Jeff said his options are January 2023. So yeah, I mean, I hope you're right, and I think you're right, but I'm giving very conservative numbers, as you guys can tell.
Probably a really stupid question, but what do these farmers do with the profits? Reinvest in the company?
The Bitcoin farmers,
yeah.
I mean, right now, their capital costs are massive. So, you know, they don't have money to give dividends or distributions or any of that kind of stuff because they have to keep buying machines. The halving is coming up in 2 years, and right now, all of these companies are going to reinvest all of their money, and on top of that, they're going to borrow money, and on top of that, most of them are going to issue more equity so that they can increase their exahash rate so that they're ready to thrive after the halving. And there's a lot of school of thought that some of these smaller ones aren't going to get, you know, where they need to be, and the bigger ones are going to get to buy the smaller ones. We'll see what happens. It depends what happens with the worldwide hash rate overall. It's been pretty steady for a while. It looked like it was spiraling upward. We know there's purchase orders coming for the publicly traded companies on the NASDAQ that is going to add, you know, a lot, 60 or 80 or 100 exahash right there. So it's going to go up.
Logan said, hey, Tom, with all your mining company connections, Get me a mining rig. I'm still waiting for my Bobcat miner. I would actually go to, if you want a miner, go to Compass Mining.com, I think. Compass Mining. They have some for sale.
Will they sell you the miners, or are they full
Yes.
service? They
No.
only keep them.
They will sell you miners.
They will. Okay.
Yep. They will sell you. Yep. All right. Well, hey, it's fun. Close this out with Bitcoin.
All right. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. Oh, this is the 4 hour. We got to get to the. So we're at 44.4. So we're hanging out, right? I mean, we're just hanging out around this
Look
green
at that
line.
line. It's insane.
It's hovering over the line. So hopefully, even though today was a down day, I hope everybody made money this week, because I think it was a good week overall. So thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for commenting, and thanks for commenting in the chat. And thanks everybody for the super chats. So have a great weekend, everyone.
And just so you know, I have a prediction about Bitcoin. I think it's going down this weekend. Sorry, guys.
George is calling down on the week.
It's going down. That's not.
Is it going to be back by Monday morning when we start trading?
I don't know. Here's my biggest problem still with Bitcoin is, why does it mirror the Nasdaq?
That's
my biggest problem still today.
I'm gonna do the opposite of George. I think it's going up. I think it's going to go down a little, and then it's going to get past this purple line by the time we start trading on Monday.
Oh, wow.